Hello folks, this is Sully here. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is some footage that's been provided to me by JDP El Grillo. He is playing in a double-up game with Antisocialmunky, and we're going to be featuring Mordekaiser in this game. Yes, all the Mordekaisers you could ever want in this particular game. We're going to be getting to see a lot of this champion. I was actually able to watch this game. You see the initial portal, it looks like it's going to be everybody gets an Orin item. I was actually able to watch this game. I was spectating. Now, of course, Teamfight Tactics does not have a spectate mode, but Grillo was kind enough to be locally live streaming this on the solo Discord, so I was able to pop in, and I watched most of this. I think I missed a little bit at the beginning, and I thought it would be an interesting game to try to cast because it's early enough in the set that I don't have any footage from Mordekaiser. Now, this is a set that I have not spent much time playing yet, and the biggest reason for that is just that everyone in our family has been super sick for like the past week. I think a number of you know this, but our baby son was in the hospital for 4 days, and we've actually been pretty sick as well. My wife and Liz and I, I've been kind of limping around here, barely eating anything for the last few days. And just been pretty miserable. Miserable enough that I couldn't even record this video, which was played like 4 days before I'm posting this, because I was just too sick to record anything. But everybody's getting better now, fortunately. Thankfully, we're all doing better. And hopefully we can start to get back to the usual setup going forward from this point on. Now, in terms of Teamfight Tactics, what's been going on here since the initial version of set 9.5 dropped is the initial version was very poorly balanced. Bilgewater was extremely overpowered, and Neela in particular was the unit that was like stupidly overtuned. So it was pretty much just who can play the most Bilgewater units and who can get Neela 2-star first, which was obviously kind of a joke in terms of gameplay balance. So about 48 hours after the set dropped, the developers released a hotfix patch that just completely decimated Bilgewater, and it went from being the best trait in the game to being the worst trait in the game, because that's how they balance this game, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's not ideal in terms of how you would want to set up a game, but that's how they play these things, and that's how things ended up developing. Since then, the things that have been most dominant have been Cho'Gath reroll, Cho'Gath Bruisers or Cho'Gath Void with reroll, or alternately Samira reroll, a Noxus comp rerolling for Samira. That's actually what Antisocialmunky is going to be playing in this game. He's kind of worked on coming up with a new build for his reroll setup, and I might be able to showcase that at some point. Might be able to showcase some of his reroll Samira at some point, but that's been very popular, and I think those are kind of the main things. I'm sure there's other things that I'm missing here. This patch is decently balanced after the hotfix, but still I wouldn't say amazing or anything like that. Now, what we're going to have here from Grillo is he's going to end up playing into Mordekaiser in this game, and he's actually going a very specific game plan here. He was able to take Pandora's items for his initial choice. Note that he did not take the Twisted Fate Legend. He just randomly picked up Pandora's items as one of his choices. I believe Grillo runs the Poro option, which is you don't get any tailored augments at all. But since he picked that up, this is going to allow him to reroll his items on the bench constantly. And what he's going to try to do is make as many rapid-fire cannons as possible. So this is going to be an RFC game, a rapid-fire cannon, for long-range Mordekaiser. So this was really broken on the public beta environment before the set released. Basically, what would happen is people would take Twisted Fate as their legend, and they would just stack as many rapid-fire cannons as possible. This has been an item that's been in a weird place for a long time. It originally, so it's basically it's 2 bows, right? It gives you extra attack speed. I believe, how much attack speed is it right now? Let me just look up. They've tweaked the numbers a number of different times. Let's see, items. Here we go. Rapid fire cannon. It gives 35% attack speed. That's actually not that impressive. No wonder people don't build this. Anyway, so 35% attack speed, and then a number of sets ago, I can't remember which set this was. They changed it so rapid fire cannon also added +1 range to the unit in question, and that has led to some somewhat problematic interactions sometimes with some units. But that's the main draw why people would build this item. It was completely overshadowed in the first half of the set, the first half of set 9, by Ginsu's Rage Blade, the bow plus rod combination, because it was like half the carries in the game wanted scaling attack speed, and they didn't really want RFC. So everybody would just build Rage Blade, and this was like kind of a pointless item. It also used to make it so the unit that's attacking you can't get hit by dodge procs, but then they took dodge out of the game, and so RFC kind of lost this niche function that it had, which was that if you put it on someone, then enemy units that have dodge chance can't dodge attacks. So anyway, this item's been kind of in search for a purpose for quite a while now, and the developers decided they were going to buff it before the release of set 9.5. Specifically, on the PBE, they made it so Rapid Fire Cannon would give the unit that had it 12% increased damage, in addition to the 35% attack speed and +1 range. So this turned out to be really problematic because there was a bug on the public beta environment. The main bug was the increased damage stacked multiplicatively instead of additively. So you'd figure, all right, RFC gives 12% additional damage. If you put 3 of them on a unit, 12 plus 12 plus 12, it should be 36% additional damage, right? Well, I mean, that's what you'd think. But it turns out, no, that's not the way it worked. On the PvE, what it actually did was it multiplied that together. It was 12 times 3 times 3. So if you put 3 rapid fire cannons on a unit, they would get 108% increased damage. And of course, this just like completely broke the public to beta environment because this item was like ludicrously overtuned. By the way, there you see Grillo grab a glove because the items he picks off the carousel don't really matter. He just wants them to transform over time into other items. He could have taken a bow there, but it was on a 1 gold champ, and he favored, I think, the 3 gold champ, so that he was able to get his the additional gold, and it did actually allow him to hit level 5 and still be at 10 gold in the bank here. So Grillo's not really playing anything special so far. He's been playing through a 1-star Jin. Really, he's been playing through the 2-star Alawi, which is, you know, solid frontline, 2-star frontliner in the early games, pretty good. A lot of the other players in this game have not been playing particularly strong boards. A lot of the people in this game have just been sacking the early rounds for additional econ. And you can tell that because Grillo's board is not really anything special, and he's still been winning all these rounds. So he's actually on a 4-match win streak, which is pretty nice here. It looks like Antisocial's win streak is finally going to end. So also trying to grab those Samiras so that they can be sent over to Antisocialmunky. You can see he's grabbing Samiras, grabbing Cassiopeias, because Antisocialmunky wants to 3-star both of those units. ASM is playing, as I said, a Samira reroll comp, which basically tries to play Noxus, and tries to 3-star Samira, Cassiopeia, and Swain. And then once it has those, it goes vertical Noxus from there. And it's been quite strong. It's been doing pretty good. We're kind of in a reroll meta at the time, for the time being. All right, anyway, so yeah, Grillo's just kind of chilling here. As I said, he doesn't really have much of anything. Just kind of hanging out here, taking advantage of the fact that someone like this is only level 4 while he's level 5. And so far, it's been enough to win every round here. But at some point, he's going to have to switch into, he's going to try to find Mordekaiser and start making the switch into his preferred late game setup. Now, there is going to be some overlap between the two compositions that Antisocial and Grillo are playing in this game. They're both going to be playing some Noxus units, and so as a result, Grillo is going to be going more of a Slayers build than a like vertical Noxus build. 1 second. Excuse me. I'm still trying to get over this cough here. Alright, but yeah, 2-star Aurelia, that's kind of nice. And just hoping to hit one more Cassiopeia, one more Samira to send them over to ASM, because he's about to do his big roll down on stage 3-1 and see what units he gets. I'm kind of surprised that Grillo was able to win streak all throughout that stage, even though he had Jin 1-star, and Jin was the only unit that had any items. Now Grillo, yes, he actually has to put that on Jin or else the item will transform. So one thing you can do is just not open the orbs until the beginning of the next stage, but then you lose out on any gold that might appear. So yeah, there's 5 items on the bench, and this is the drawback of Pandora's items, is because you're usually waiting for your items to transform into like more perfect items. Then you often find yourself sitting there with like a whole bunch of items on the bench that you are not using, which is kind of problematic because you're leaving quite a bit of power on the table by having all those item components sit there. It's one of the things I like kind of gently poke fun at when I see people doing this. But Grillo and Antisocial are, their highest health in the lobby. He's won every single round so far, so it doesn't look like he's been penalized that much so far. And the whole goal is to try to make triple rapid-fire cannons on Mordekaiser, so that's what he's going to be looking to do in this game, and he's going to keep greeting for more bows. Without Pandora's items, you're not going to be able to get 6 bows, but with it, you actually have a decent chance. Now, it looks like the win streak's going to come to an end here because this person has 3-star Renekton over there. This person is re-rolling for Cho'Gath. They've also picked up Renekton. This is, as I said, the Bruiser's build. It's kind of popular. Maybe Antisocial can come over. No, not quite enough in time. Yeah, because that person hit 3-star Renekton, I suspected that they probably would be able to take that one. All right, so what are the options here for second augment? Let's see what we have here. Gain a Hand of Justice. Probably not useful for this particular game. Silver ticket. Social distancing. Probably social distancing. Yeah, I think that's the best option. Hey, look, it's 2-star Jhin, finally. Well, there's another rapid-fire cannon. So the rapid-fire cannon was nerfed a bit from what it was on the public beta environment. The developers did fix that bug that was causing it to give units 100% extra damage. So fortunately that was fixed, and the item was also nerfed, I believe, in the hotfix patch that they put out after 2 days after the set officially released. They nerfed the increased damage from 12% to 8%, which has turned this back into not a very good item again. It's pretty underwhelming in all honesty. The 8% additional damage, 35% attack speed, neither one of those are particularly great from a stats perspective. It's really the only champions that really want this are the ones that want +1 range, and Mordekaiser is one of the champs that probably can take better advantage of this than anyone else because he's an attack speed based champ. He's AP plus attack speed, like Azir in that regard, but Azir has much longer range than he does. He's AP plus attack speed, and he starts out as a melee unit, so he really needs the additional range. Alright, there is Cassiopeia, so Grillo's just waiting to get his champions sent back. He has a 2-star Samira and a 2-star Cassiopeia, so he can send those over as soon as he gets the unit sent back. I believe he's about to get it back on the next round. ASM looks like he has 6 Swains or somewhere around there. Hasn't quite hit any of his 3-stars yet, but his board will be... Alright, he's on how many Samiras? And it looks like he's going to send a Quinn over here. So why the Quinn? Why the Rek'Sai on the bench? Excuse me. Mordekaiser's traits are Noxus plus Slayer. And as I mentioned, since Antisocial Monkey is going to be doing Vertical Noxus, once he hits his 3-stars, Grillo is going to be playing Vertical Slayers. So he wants to start grabbing some of the Slayer units early on. That way, Mordekaiser can hopefully try to get up to 6 Slayers, or at the very least maybe on 4 Slayers, because the damage increase is pretty significant from that. Alright, that Rek'Sai with the Death's Defiance, going to get popped by Jhin. Does he have enough to beat all these units? No. Wow, that was really close. Antisocial almost able to get there, but just a touch too slow. Still, they've done a really, really good job of preserving health, because this is part of the game where they're kind of at their weakest. Antisocial has not hit his 3-stars yet, and Grillo has been building towards a unit that he doesn't actually have on his board yet, Mordekaiser. So they've been able to get through this early portion of the game where their boards are really not anywhere close to their finished state, and preserve a tremendous amount of health, which is really nice. Now there's another bow on the carousel. If it's there, I suspect Grillo is going to try to take this, and looks like it is. I mean, you might as well. Jarvan's the most expensive unit on that carousel. That is a 4 cost, and there's a bow right there already. So there's the potential for another half of a rapid-fire cannon, and if you can get another item to transform on the bench, that would be enough for it. Alright, so wow, there it goes. First of all, though, it's going to be time for the Ornn artifact, Ornn's Forge. On 2-5, gain an Ornn's artifact, and oh! What's this? Sniper's Focus. Increased, what is the Sniper's Focus? Grillo didn't put that on the screen. Gain, I'll just read the description here, because I've got the items list. Sniper's Focus. Here we go. Gain +1 attack range. Damage is increased by 10% for each hex between the holder and the target. Also grants attack damage, AP, and attack speed. Small amounts of each one. Now, you also saw Mordekaiser pop up. You might be like, wait, what was that? Well, this is the gift round in double up mode. And the gift round in double up mode, one of the options in this particular game was random tier 4 champion. And Grillo picked that one, and guess what? He got a Mordekaiser out of the random tier 4 champion. Yeah, so that's like 1 in 11 or 1 in 12 odds. I think there's right around 11 or 12 we're on 11 or 12 the 4-cost units. So that was pretty lucky. Got the exact unit he was looking for there. So now Mordekaiser has double RFCs, and he has a sniper's focus as well. Can he hold on here long enough? Yes, looks like he can. So, that got kind of close there, but he did manage to win that one. And Mordekaiser's just going to hang out there in the back. So Mordekaiser, again, he's typically a melee unit. He has +3 range, though. So now he has 4 range, which is pretty wild, all things considered. Now here's the other half of the gift round. You see the Samira go over to ASM, so he hits 3-star Samira. Very nice. And out of these options, if you're playing Vertical Noxus, you pretty much always want a Spatula because it's very easy to make a Noxus emblem with it. All you need is a belt. That's pretty easy to do. By the way, there's another Mordekaiser, so okay. This is a bit of a high roll game here, being able to hit these items from Mordekaiser, and also find 2 Mordekaisers this early on. I mean, the odds of the 4 costs are only 5% here, and Grillo got one out of the gift round at like basically 10% odds, and then he got one in his store early on as well. So he's looking pretty sharp here. He's going to shift around his board a little bit. He's going to put the Poppy in, and of course the reason for that is to get Demacia trait in play. This is going to put a Radiant Warmogs on Jarvan, make him much tankier. That's good because this board is entirely 1-stars that Grillo's playing right now. He definitely needs some additional front line so that Mordekaiser can stand back there and kill things, which he's doing pretty well, let's be honest. And yeah, wins this round pretty easily. So 4 Slayer, 3 Demacia is the setup right now. And he can build out the rest of the team as he continues to level. Alright, so as I mentioned, Mordekaiser's traits are Noxus plus Slayer. So before we cover anything else, let's go ahead and read his official ability description, just so I can cover it as early in the set as I'm recording this. So, Mordekaiser, his ability is called God of Death, costs 80 mana, has a passive and an active function. Passive is attack steal bonus magic damage, increased while God of Death is active, so you will see if you watch his auto attacks as a little magic damage, the blue text on his attacks. The active, when the mana bar fills up, gain a shield and 1 range for 5 seconds. Killing enemies in this state steals their health, attack damage, ability power, armor, and magic resistance until combat ends. So at 1 and 2 stars, it's Mordekaiser steals 6% of those stats, and the shield is 40% of his health. So you can see he gains 1 range when he has his ability active. Normally it goes from 1 to 2 range. In this game it goes from 4 to 5 range, which is pretty wild. But people really like putting the RFCs on him because it allows him just to stay well away from the front lines, where he can be nice and safe in the back area and just, you know, hit people in safety. When he uses his ability, he gets those extra stats, and every time he kills an enemy, he steals more stats, which last until the rest of the fight. So he definitely scales up over the course of the fights. Mordekaiser will often be the last unit left standing, and sometimes he can like 1v5 at the end of fights because he's stolen all these stats from the enemy team. Don't forget he also gets innate Omnivamp by virtue of the Slayer trait. Like you saw there, Grillo's entire rest of his team died, but the Mordekaiser was still hanging in there. The irony, Grillo now has a bunch of bows on his bench and he can't do anything with them. Alright, now this is an interesting augment here. Last augment's Prismatic, and there is the option for Lucky Gloves here. These gloves will always give your champions ideal items, gain 3 sparring gloves. Now, excuse me. Now, typically this is a rather underpowered option. It tends not to be that good as a Prismatic augment, but it has insane synergy with the Pandora's items that Grillo's running. Basically, this thing is pretty good. It kind of breaks even if you can make 2 Thief's Gloves, but if you can make 3 Thief's Gloves or 4 Thief's Gloves, it becomes really, really, really high value. And he should be able to do that because, remember, his items on the bench are going to keep re-rolling every round. So he can put this, put 1 Thief's Glove on Quinn, going to put good Quinn items, and then look to make another one on Rek'Sai. Because Jarvan's already itemized, Grillo's going to go ahead and put a second Protector's Vow on Jarvan, which is pretty nice because it means he insta-casts at the start of the fight. He just jumps onto the backlines right away at the start of combat. Very, very nice. Also gets a big, big shield when he starts to get low on health. So all that's pretty nice. A lot of crowd control for the enemy team, and it looks like Grillo's still winning these fights without too much trouble. He's going to level 8. Excuse me, he did not have to roll down on level 7. He's just going straight to level 8. And then on level 8, he can try to make his board and go from there. See how many Mordekaisers he can hit. So far, the rest of the lobby has not been putting too much pressure on Grillo and ASM. They are very healthy. They haven't lost very many rounds over the course of the game. They've been able to play, you know, pretty much in econ mode without being in too much trouble. And yeah, they look like they're in pretty good shape. I think that this build makes sense for playing Vertical Slayer. Now, what Grillo would probably like to do is get up to 6 Slayer. So what he's missing is he's missing Aatrox, which is the 5-cost Slayer. Would be a very nice unit to put on his board. Alternately, he can then the other one he's missing is Kale, which is of course a 1-cost unit, but he could take out Poppy and replace Poppy with Kale, which would make a lot of sense. And that because they're both Demacian units, and like Poppy's not really doing anything other than being a trait bot for Demacia right now. So yeah, Mordekaiser, last one left standing, and again he's stolen so many stats that doesn't really seem to have too much trouble just kind of smacking everybody with his big mace and moving on to the next round. Alright, so time for another item carousel here. The Scion would certainly be nice for Antisocial or Grillo because of the way that they're playing, what is it called, Noxus stuff. Seem to be pretty nice. Unfortunately, the Sparring Glove gets taken right away, so that's not an option. Let's see what Grillo wants here. He can pretty much take anything because he's got the Pandora's items. Yeah, looks like he's going to take the Scion there. He might want to get Noxus 3 in if he can find a way to do it. I believe he can just play the Scion here on level up, because he already had Katarina in for Rogue Trait, and then he, of course, Mordekaiser's Noxus unit himself. There's another bow, but of course he doesn't really need the bows now. Let's see, so he can go ahead and make another Thief's Glove, send the Cassiopeia over to Antisocial Monkey. There's 3-star Cassiopeia. And let's see, is he going to level here and put in the Scion? I would assume so. There it goes. So in goes Scion. And now probably would like to get one of those Thief's Gloves onto Scion. But hopefully he can continue to get some more gloves. So he currently has, 2 Thief's Gloves on the board. If he can get a third one, then that Prismatic is going to be delivering really nice value. This person apparently re-rolling for Talia. That's an interesting setup right there. Talia 3-star with the Collector. Interesting. So this is, again, can Mordekaiser punch through the front lines? Again, this is a 1-star Mordekaiser. This is not a 2-star Mordekaiser. Grillo did hit the 1-star very early, but he did not hit the 2-star, has not hit the 2-star yet. So, looks like, excuse me, it looks like Talia was putting those units in the bounce house, but then ASM's board came in and managed to win the round. I think Talia would have just barely clutched that out if it hadn't been for the reinforcing other player coming in. And so now, if I were Grillo, I would probably roll a little bit on 8 to try, well, I was going to say to try to hit 2-star Mordekaiser, but he already hit 2-star Mordekaiser, so okay. Okay, he just, you know, hit it really easily. So the question would be, does he want to roll a little bit more here on 8 to try to fill out his board? He does not have much in the way of 2 stars, nor is he even really that close, to be honest. He has 2-star Poppy and 2-star Mordekaiser. I believe everything else on his board is a 1-star unit, although he's scouting other boards right now, so it's a little hard for me to see. But yeah, I believe every other unit is I believe every single other unit is 1-starred right now. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to roll at least a little bit of gold to try to hit, like 2-star Jarvan would be nice, 2-star Quinn, 2-star Rek'Sai. Those are some units that are kicking in a decent amount of damage as well. Anyway, this is a person who is re-rolling for Cho'Gath. Mordekaiser does not seem to care, just bashing his way right through all these players. Remember, this is the person with the 3-star Renekton who beat Grillo a little bit earlier in the game, but Grillo has kind of outscaled this person by now, and yeah, Mordekaiser just doing way too much damage. So Grillo, let's see, just looking for more gloves to pop out on his items over there. So 89 health on both of them. Everybody else in the lobby getting pretty close to dead. It's been a rather relaxing game thus far. I guess this is partly because of the ranked ELO reset at the start of the season. I wish I'd been able to play in these games, but just we've had a lot of illness stuff going on. So yeah, not quite able to take part in these, which would have been fun. Alright, so item ammo. There's another Mordekaiser, so that's nice. There's a glove on the bench. That's interesting. That could go on somebody. And, not another glove. Oh well. Half of a glove there. So 4 Mordekaisers at the moment. And also has a Fiora right there. So I think that the ideal way to round out this board would be to go to level 9, find Aatrox, and then replace the Poppy with Kale, because that would get up to 6 Slayer, and it would preserve all of the other traits that are in play. Poppy is not providing Bastion trait because there's no other Bastion units in there. And yeah, that would get up to 6 Slayer, which at the moment is a pretty big increase in damage over the Slayer 4 that's on the board right now. Right now, Slayer 4 is... So, Slayers, I should read the trait description. It's been tweaked a small bit for the mid-set update. Slayers innately gain Omnivamp. They gain 12% Omnivamp. Slayers deal bonus damage doubled against units that are below 66% health. Right now, Slayers 4 is 20% bonus damage, which again is doubled to 40% against units below 66% health. Slayer 6 doubles the bonus, 40% bonus at all times, 80% extra damage against units below 66% health. By the way, one of the options was for a Thief's Glove, so Grillo just goes ahead and grabs that from the last gift round. And now he's just waiting for one more to roll on his bench. So he currently has 1, 2, 3 Thief's Gloves. Honestly, Grillo's playing a little bit greedy here by not rolling at all. You saw he did lose that last round. I personally would have rolled at least a little bit on level 8 because there were so many 1-stars on the board. But it feels like this doesn't really matter that much because the Mordekaiser thing has kind of come together in a beautiful way. The double rapid-fire cannons plus the sniper's focus. This is the one board that I think it's been causing some problems, and it's pretty much solely because the Sejuani has a, what is that, the Winter's Edge? I'm not sure I'm getting that name right, but it's the one that provides an attack speed debuff when you hit the unit. Very bad for units like Mordekaiser that are attack speed based. So yeah, what is the name of that item again? I know I've talked about it before in other videos, I just can't remember. It's Winter's something. Eternal Winter, jeez. Okay, I had it backwards. Eternal Winter. Anyway, there's another glove that can go onto Scion to make another Thief's Glove. And let's see what Antisocialmunky wants here. I think he wanted the component, yeah, the completed item anvil. Alright, so there's going to be another Quinn there. I'm not quite sure why the Fiora isn't. I guess because Fiora could also replace Poppy. Kale would be a better replacement, but Fiora could go in there as well. After all, Poppy's literally just in there as a trait bot right now. Jarvan, of course, could come out as well, but he's like the primary tank on this board right now. One team's already out of the lobby, and 2 others are getting pretty low. It looks like there's one board that's kind of strong right now. Tug Speedman. I can't recall what that person was playing. I think it was the board with the Eternal Winter, but I'm not sure. Anyway, there's 3 belts right here, which is kind of amusing. Good tank items there. Wanted to make a Warmogs or something like that. But yeah, as long as Mordekaiser is able to get his attacks off, he's pretty effective. Just stands back there in the corner and slaps people with the mace, stealing their stats and relying on his innate Omnivamp to tank. So yeah, this fight's pretty close, but then again, Antisocial comes over. ASM's board is very strong as well, and it turns into another pretty easy win. By the way, that person has 40 gold in the bank, but they're on like 8 HP. Maybe they should roll a little bit more. A little odd to go down. Yeah, now they're down at 1 HP. Maybe they should have rolled a bit more. A little odd not to do that. Oh well. Alright, so what's here? There's probably not that much that's amazingly useful here. The Ionic Spark could be good to put on our frontliner just to debuff the MR. Mordekaiser does deal magic damage. Oh, okay, gonna end up taking the Death Cap. That also is Quinn 2-star, for what that's worth. Excuse me. And it looks like Antisocial was able to grab the Heimer, who he, I believe, is playing on his board as well. Alright, so is Grillo going to go to level 9 here and look to try to cap out his board? There's not much, doesn't look like there's too much time remaining in this game based on the low HP totals that are dropping down for the other players. Grillo's doing a lot of scouting right now. Let's see, is he going to level here? Looks like he is. No, there's another Jarvan. Oh wait, we went past the Jarvan. Wow, that's a pretty big mistake. There's another Mordekaiser. Just put the other Scion on the board, I guess. Okay, that's a little awkward going past the that unit. The Death Cap will re-roll into a different item if it stays on the bench there. Now, notice how much HP the Cho has on this enemy team. As I said, this patch has been very big on Cho'Gath re-roll. So you have a lot of people who've been getting Chos with like a tremendous amount of health stacked up. That Cho is tanking forever. Not really doing that much damage, but is tanking forever. Still, I don't think Mordekaiser can kill all these units. It's a lot of enemy units for him to have to deal with, so yeah. I mean, he's strong. He did 10,000 damage, but he's not that strong. Good news is that other team lost, and they are down to 3 HP, and Antisocial is still winning. Alright, so there's a send back for Antisocial. Also, a whole bunch of, it looks like it's going to be ASM picking up the Heimerdinger. Looks like there's a whole bunch of additional bows on the bench. Too bad that there's not really a good way to use them right now. Antisocial is also playing Mordekaiser, but he just sent a Mordekaiser over, so what are we going to have happen here? They're just going to play another Mordekaiser. Going to put the RFC and the Titan's Resolve on, and then see if they can roll yet another bow. So it's double Mordekaisers, both of them with RFCs. I mean, why not, right? Why not? This has to be better than anything else that Grillo can play at the moment. So yeah, you've got the dueling Mordekaisers here. The other one is, the new one is not going to be as strong because his items are not quite as good, but I mean, it's still pretty strong. They're both getting the benefit from Slayer, they're both getting the benefit from Noxus. Just the double Mordekaisers are pretty hilarious. In addition, Antisocial has a Mordekaiser on his board too. So there's actually 3 of them between 3 Mordekaisers between the 2 boards that they're playing. Kind of a weird game. Kind of a wacky, weird game. I don't know that this is particularly repeatable, especially out of the double up mode. This is kind of a wacky game. I wouldn't really suggest trying this build unless you kind of have all the pieces for it, as Grillo did in this game. But when it comes together, it's certainly been very entertaining. I've been very amused by watching this setup here, by watching the double. First of all, the Mordekaiser with +3 range, and then in addition to that, the second Mordekaiser, who also has the rapid fire cannon. Alright, gonna have... Oh, wow, and it's another Thief's Glove. Okay, and there's an Aatrox, so that unit can go on the board. Gotta be better than one of the other Slayers, right? Gotta be better than, like, Rek'Sai or something, I would think. Oh, went past another Jarvan. Grillo, what are you doing? You need Jarvan 2-star for your front line. Went past another Jarvan. That's 3 Jarvans missed. Oof. And then sold the Aatrox. What? Maybe they were trying to go for 3-star Mordekaiser? That is pretty sloppy, though. You'd think, at the very least, you could replace the like the Rek'Sai with Aatrox. Definitely feels like that would be better. Or take out like the Quinn, or not the Quinn, the Kiana. Like, what is she really doing on this board? Rogue trait for Katarina. I think you could play a better unit than that. I think that there could be room for a better unit than that on this board. But it is early in the set, and we're all trying to get used to the new units here in the mid-set update. Although this board looks like it's pretty strong. Tug Speedman. Looks like he has a pretty strong board here. So it does in fact defeat the 3 Mordekaisers that were there. The 2 that were on Grillo's board and the one that came over from antisocialmunky's board. So it looks like the other team is knocked out. Tug Speedman is still alive though. So thank goodness for that. And then now it's down to just 2 teams in the lobby here. Alright, so yeah, the double Mordekaisers. Since this looks like it might be the last round of the game, one thing that Grillo could do is he could put that tier on the Mordekaiser for a static Shiv. It's not a particularly good item on Mordekaiser, but, you know, it could be, it's not horrible. I'd say it's like a B in terms of items on him. And since it looks like this is the last round of the game, you might want to just get an additional benefit before the before things run out. But anyway, I guess the game could stretch out if this round does not go their way. Still, having hit 2-star Scion is certainly nice. Now those double Mordekaisers are doing their thing, slapping people with those maces again. This board is the weaker of the 2. It's the other one, Tug Speedman, who's got the strong board. This board actually doesn't look that strong at all. So as soon as that Zanya's wears out, the Kai'Sa's going to die. And then Grillo's going to come over here and help Antisocial Monkey. And it looks like this is going to be a victory for Team Mordekaiser. The game of long-range Mordekaisers. All the Mordekaisers slapping away against what's left of this board. And I guess you get to see the little animation for the Chibi Aurelia, which ASM picked up. I hate those things, but I know some people like them. Alright, well, thanks for watching this game. I hope that you enjoyed getting to see this. I want to thank Grillo for providing me with the footage. Again, I haven't been able to play any Teamfight Tactics myself, so I've been kind of limited in what I could do. But having something like this to cast, just to provide a little bit of additional content is nice. Hopefully, in the upcoming week, everybody will be feeling better. We already are feeling better, but we'll be even more back to usual. And we'll get back to our normal daily and weekly routine. So until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, hope you guys are having a great week. Take care, folks.